Hi everyone, Gothic Witch here. I was asked by someone to share what it's like when deity connects to you and what happens really. And I thought it would be good to share some of my life because you guys only know me from my videos. And so I thought it would be a good way to become closer to you and maybe let you know a bit more about me. When I was small, when I was growing up, I lived in a big house, and this big house had a cellar and it had an attic and it had 3 stories. It was quite a big house. It was in a Victorian house. And it was, I mean, people could say, yes, it was a spooky house. So it definitely had something going on there. And at night, well, sometimes during the day, I would see certain people would come into my room that didn't live there. But I saw them, and I was only about 3 years old. And I wasn't frightened of them. I would talk to them. Most people would say they was imaginary friends, but I knew they were real. I knew that they were people, and I would talk to them. That's where it all started. Started with me with things like that. And my sister also, she was the same. She would see and feel things. And my mum, she didn't like to admit it, but yes, she did. So many years of that and feeling different. I remember I always felt different. I didn't feel like that they were my family. At one point I thought maybe I'd been adopted, but no, I hadn't. But I felt like a square peg in a round hole. I felt different. I felt that I did things that other people didn't, and that other people didn't understand me, so I was a bit of a loner. I didn't make friends very easily, and I always felt like an outsider everywhere, which wasn't nice. But as I got older, I learnt to cope with that and get on with things. So I got involved in learning about all the different religions that there were. I got involved in Christianity, all forms of Christianity, to learn. I really wanted to learn. And I found that all things had the same stories. Even though they were different religions, they all had a beginning. And because of my past, I knew by that age, I was in my 20s, that I had psychic abilities, that I could see dead people, that I could feel their energies, and I could feel energies of plants, but I couldn't tell anyone because they would all think I was mad. So I kept it all to myself. Now, as time went on, I learned how to understand what people were going through, and I started to help people that needed help. I've never charged for any of what I do because I feel it's a gift that's given, and it's a gift that should be truly given freely. So I used to help anybody that needed help, and I don't mean by just readings, but by things that they needed as well. So like if I knew somebody was really destitute, wasn't telling anyone that they needed food, I would give them food, etc. That sort of thing. Anyway, I became deeply religious after losing my baby. She died at birth. And I became very interested in honing in on my psychic abilities. So I got trained as a medium. So I thought, it'd be nice to get a certificate. So in that field of things, I still didn't feel like I fitted in. I still didn't feel like I'd fitted in at all. And they made it clear that because I had a different energy to them, that there was something not right. They didn't like it. At this time I was looking into witchcraft, and I just felt like I'd come home, that I understood that it was me. So it wasn't so much spiritualism, it was all manner of things. It was healing, it was doing good things for people and animals. And over the years I've trained and I've learnt things, and I've been able to, I can communicate with animals, I can do healing, I do Reiki, I do distant healing, all sorts of things, and it is just me. This is who I am, and this is what I am, and people just have to accept me now for what I am, and I don't care what people think anymore. But that aside, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background on myself. I trained as an Alexandrian priestess witch in the Alexandrian tradition, became a 3rd degree, which is a high priestess. I also did do some training with Gardnerian witchcraft, because I believe all knowledge is good knowledge and it's good to learn. I then got more interested in what was within me, and that was this yearning to be part of Mother Earth, to know my ancestry. So I had a DNA test done, because this is all when Freyja got involved. It's very strange, but I kept getting dreams of Viking times, that I was actually in villages and I was taking part in some of their traditions that they were doing. I could, in the dreams, which I thought were dreams, I could feel the coldness, I could smell the food that they were cooking. It was the most strange experience. But also I felt this longing that I somehow fitted in with the Vikings, with Scandinavia, with even Norway, all of that area. It just spoke to me. So I started doing a lot of research, like looking at how people in Norway live and how they lived, looking at all sorts of things. And then I started getting more dreams where a lady would appear, and she had golden hair and it was all plaited. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know much about all the gods, and I knew some of them, obviously, the ones that they make films about, but nothing that really spoke to me. But this lady kept appearing, and the more she appeared, the more I felt close to her, almost like a mother-daughter feel. She would come in many forms, different colour hair, different outfits, but I knew that her spirit, I knew her, who it was the same person. So I just thought, well, I'm dreaming a lot, I'm obviously astral travelling to places, and I'm enjoying this. I started to get conflicted about, I can't do this because I'm not from the north. I should be looking at my Saxon roots. I shouldn't be looking at Norse roots. So my son said, Mum, why don't you have a DNA done? He said, I've got a feeling you might be shocked. So the kids, my 2 children, bought me a DNA test for Christmas, and I had it done. And when it came back, boy, was I shocked. I was mostly Scandinavian, German. There wasn't hardly any of the British. I think there was only something like 25% British. The rest was all Scandinavian, German. So there you go. That's my ancestry, and that is probably why I feel drawn to that side of things. So yeah, so everything calmed down, and I thought, okay, I'm going to look into it. And the first name that kept coming was Freyja. So I checked up as much as I could on her, and I thought, I'm going to ask her, I'm going to meditate on her daily and see what happens. So I would meditate daily, and then I would dream of her at night. And the feelings, the longing got more and more and more. I just felt drawn to her. And I asked her for a sign, which is something you shouldn't do. But I did. I said, if I'm not going mad, if it is you, if your energy is asking me to be working with you, and I need to know so that I can answer you and say yes or no. Anyway, that night when I was doing a ritual and I was working with candles, I thought I'd done an altar properly for her. I put the wrong colour candles. I think they were red and they should have been gold. And those 2 candles fell off of my altar. They was alight. And they fell in the most peculiar way. As they fell, the wicks went out and they collapsed into my lap. Well, I was gobsmacked. And I said, have I done something to offend you? Anyway, a thought come into my head, gold candles please. Well, luckily I had some, and I put the gold candles up. And they were like going mad. They was like elongating and up and down, up and down. I thought, wow, this is real evidence that Freyja's with me. So it just got stronger from then. I would get this when she talks to me. It would just come into my head. I know she's with me. If I get a query from somebody and they ask me something and she wants them to know something, it will come into my head in her voice, not my voice, in her voice. And I just hear in my head. It's not in my ears, it's in my head. Anyway, I started to write down everything and I would start to learn. She would teach me things in my astral travelling, in my dreams. So I would learn how to do certain rituals. Sometimes she would just say to me, just do your own thing and I'll guide you as you're doing it. And I think a good example of that was one of the videos that I did on letting loose your Freyja. And I mean, anybody watching that would think this woman is totally lost it. The energy was so raw that I was howling, that I was yelling. And she's going, yes, yes, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. And that excited her. She is not with me all the time, don't get me wrong, friends. But when she comes with an energy that I sense and feel, and it surrounds me. And we don't live in each other's pockets. But when I do work and she works with me, it is the most harmonious, loving, wonderful thing. And I can honestly say I found my home. I found where I've come from. Anyway, I don't want to bore you anymore. I just thought I would let you know a bit more about myself and tell you a bit more about Freyja. If you're not sure and you think she's trying to call you, just ask her. You might get dreams, you might get things like, I often get things happen when I'm doing ritual that are physically impossible. Like one night my drum would bang. I wasn't touching it. It was like somebody was tapping it lightly with their fingers. Little things like that, like you might be sitting there meditating and you feel like she's come up behind you and put her arms around. Just acknowledging that you are feeling her energy. That's how close she can come. Don't be frightened of her. She can be a bit abrupt, but can't we all? It's like a friendship. When you talk to her, she'll talk back. You learn about each other. She knows all about you. You know a lot about her. When you get a good relationship going with deity of any form, you learn it's a friendship as much as it is a working partnership. And it's something that I couldn't live without now. She is marvellous. She is my Freyja. And I feel a bond and a kindred spirit with her. And I know there's a place waiting for me in Folkvanger. I just know that she will take me to be with her. And I look forward to that. To meeting all the other vulva. To meet all the other. Because it's through her that I'm walking this shamanic pathway. It's through her that I'm learning the gifts of the vulva. And I can honestly say it beats anything else I've done. And I'm happy. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any questions, if you want to know more about Freyja, If you're frightened that you're getting things happen, just ask me and I will ask her, and hopefully you'll get an answer. But please do, don't sit in fear, don't be scared. She is a wonderful goddess to work with, and if she's calling you, don't evade it, don't walk away from it, because it's enriching your life to know her. Anyway, again, I'm going to leave it there because I could waffle on forever. You don't want that. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Oh, before I go, thank you to all new subscribers. And if you want to subscribe, press the button below, the notifications, and then you won't miss any that I'm putting out. And is there anything else? I can't think of it yet. The more subscribers I get, if I get a few more, I will put the names of the people that are on the channel that I know that have subscribed. I will put them all in a bag and pick a name, and that name will get a statue that I've made, and it will be posted to you. So do subscribe, you won't miss anything then. They won't all be waffly ones like this. I just thought it would be nice to let you know a bit more about myself. Anyway, I'm going to leave it, as I said, for about the 5th time. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day or night, I wish you the most fantastic time, joy and abundance. How's that?